Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is my third time or fourth time trying to record this video. The audio kept getting messed up every single time, but it's all good. We figured it out. I know it's been a while since I made a YouTube video, so I'm kind of hopping back on the bandwagon. Today, what I wanted to talk about was something that really actually changed the way that I understood the guitar. I want to address one of the ways that people learn guitar that I personally don't teach my students it. You learn your pentatonic scales at first, right? And you learn these different box shapes all around the neck. And then you start wondering what you can even do with them, right? So then maybe you start plugging it into like little blues jam tracks, and maybe you start doing these. You start doing like these little, you're beginning to solo. So everyone's guilty of learning the box shapes, right? And then eventually adding in the flat fifth, which is also the blues note. Everyone's guilty of that. So it's a great thing to do at first, you know, learning the box shapes. There's nothing wrong with it. But what's really important is that you got to understand why it is that you're actually playing that. Why are you actually playing that? What's the purpose of that box shape? Like, how do you even get that box shape? Here's another problem that I had, was that when I was improvising over stuff, if you don't understand the scale degrees or anything, you could just mindlessly, or you don't understand where you are in the scale, you could just mindlessly noodle in that shape and not really understand musically where to bring it. So if I just do something like this, it's mindless noodling. It's not traveling anywhere, and it's not bringing anything back. So the point of today's video is stop learning the box shapes. Cut it out. Throw it out the window. You got to understand where the roots are of the scale. So that's the most important part. You need to learn the roots before you even learn the scales. So the pentatonic scale is just a 5-note scale. That's why it's called pentatonic, because there's only 5 notes in the scale. So it's actually just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's the entire scale. Now, everything you see fancy people doing all over the guitar, it's literally just those 5 notes. People have literally built careers off of playing those 5 notes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first note of that scale, which I'm in the key of A minor, so you know that you're playing the A minor pentatonic, right? Learn where all of the A's are on the guitar. Because once you know where all of the A's are on the guitar, you could build that same scale anywhere on the guitar. So for instance, instead of doing all that box crap that doesn't really work, learn where your roots are and then build the scale on top of it. It's kind of cool because you could almost use the same exact shape that you do this. If you find an A on the guitar, it's more or less gonna be the same exact shape because the way that the guitar just naturally tunes itself. Let's start with A. Let's find where all of the A's are on the guitar, because I'm in the key of A minor, so I'm gonna find all of the A's. So I got 1 on the open A string. So that's one of my roots right there. Right there, I could already build the scale on top of it. Right? Now, start with the low A string, or the A string, excuse me. Open A, that's 1 A. Find another A on the guitar, 2nd fret of the G string. Find another A on the guitar, 5th fret of the high E string. 5th fret of the low E string. 7th fret of the D string. 10th fret of the B string. 12th fret of the A string. 14th fret of the G string. 17th fret of the high E. 17th fret of the low E. 19th fret of the D string, and if you want to get really crazy, you can do the 22nd fret of the B string. So those are all of the A's on the guitar, or at least I hope I didn't miss one. So once you just take this 5-note scale, you got to start with your foundation first. Those are your foundations, and then you build that scale on top of that. Some people get stuck in this shape. Just break out of it. Just find a root, and then find a root, whatever it is, A, and then build it off of that. So for instance, I'm going to start with the first A over here, open A. notice how it's pretty much the same shape. I hope you guys can see. I don't even know if you can see that, but it's basically the same exact shape. It's the root, you go up 3 frets, go up a string, go up 2 frets, go up a string, go up 2 frets. It's the exact same shape as here. Except now it has different texture to it because now you're playing it on different strings. Yeah, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the 6th note of the scale is the 1st note of the scale. So this is now A. Okay, so now you have your root on the 2nd fret of the G string. We got another one over here. High E string, 5th fret. Oh, excuse me. Got another one over here. 7th fret of the D. And it's important to note that the B string, everything is shifted down a half step. Whatever you would normally do on the other strings, if you're playing it on the B string, you got to move it up a fret just to compensate for it. So we have another fret right over here. Excuse me, another root right over here at the 7th fret of the D string. Another one right here, 12th fret of the E, 12th fret of the A string, excuse me. Another one right here, 14th fret of the G string. Another one over here, 19th fret of the D string. Okay, so they're all over the place. You got another one, 10th fret of the B string. That's another root, right, that you could build the scale off of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One other thing too, the root is super important because the root is kind of like your home base. So if you're in the key of A is your starting point. And then your job is to stick in that key, but also bring it somewhere else where it's musically intriguing. And then ideally you want to bring it back to the root, which is your home. It's like as if you're going to take a vacation, right? You're starting home, you're going to take a vacation, then you're coming back. See, this is my root right here. If you bring it back to the roots, it's for the most part going to sound complete. And obviously there's a lot of different ways to navigate through the different, you could navigate through different key signatures and you could do all transposing and all this weird stuff. But for the most part, your root is your home base and that's where you want to stick and you want to get really good with your roots. So I'd encourage you to start with the pentatonic scales, do that. Find all of the roots on the guitar. If you're in the key of A, find A. All of the A's on the guitar. And then build the scale off of it, and then once you're good with the pentatonic scales, start building your extended scales or your major and your minor scales and the different modes of the major scales. So, quick synopsis on the entire thing. If you want to learn the box shapes, go ahead, but learn the roots first and then learn the box shapes. Again, find all the roots, build the scales on top of that, and then you're gonna see things are gonna start piecing together pretty nicely. It's actually gonna happen probably pretty quickly. So once you get really, really good with the pentatonic scales, then you could start adding in the different modes and you can start adding in the different colors that you want to do, right? So for instance, that flat fifth, right? I know I threw that in there a lot. So get really good with that flat fifth, right? Start incorporating that. Now you have an extended scale. Now all of a sudden you could start putting in the major scales and the minor scales, but the most important part is now you understand where your roots are. This is going to piggyback into the next video that I do too, because now that you understand where your roots are, that's going to help you out with chords. Hint, hint. The same way that you build scales off of the roots, you build chords off of the roots too. So once you understand where the roots are, you're going to understand chords, you're going to understand scales, you're gonna understand pretty much everything. Anyway, I really hope that that helped, and I really hope this audio didn't get messed up again, because this is the 4th time I'm recording this video. So guys, I really hope that that helped for whoever's watching this, and if it did, please drop it a like, drop it a comment. Let me know if it actually helped you. If you guys have any other tips that helped you out as well, drop them in the comments below, help some other people out. I'm gonna be dropping a lot more videos, so if you found this tip useful, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.